Hi, I'm Sean Munger, and welcome back to my channel. This video is different than my usual history deep dives. You probably noticed that when you clicked it on. Instead of being a story about an event or a person in history, this video is a look behind the scenes at how I make my history videos on this channel. This video is for fans and supporters in case you're interested in what goes into what you see here on this channel. This video documents the making of my upcoming full-length video coming out in June 2024 about the rise and fall of Pan American Airways. This one's coming out a couple of days before that main one officially drops. So if you're seeing this video right when it comes out and you have not seen the rise and fall of Pan Am yet, just wait. It'll be out very shortly, within a few days. Throughout the process of making what I called the Pan Am project, I turned on my little GoPro, here it is, at various times to capture what was going on during the video making process. That's a lot of what you're going to see here. The purpose of this video is to give you a look behind the curtain at how I make these videos. You may be surprised at all that goes into it. It's not just reading crap off Wikipedia and finding a few photos to throw up on the screen. It's much more involved than that, as you'll see. You'll see the process from beginning to end, from the germination of a video idea to the final stages of putting it together just before it goes up on the channel. It's all here. Topic selection, research and reading, outlining, finding the images that appear on screen, filming, editing, the whole ball of wax. The first thing I should say is that I was never trained as a video producer or editor. I'm a historian. My training is in teaching and research, not in video production. Unlike others in many different niches on YouTube, I'm not a YouTuber first and a historian second, rather the other way around. My area of expertise is in the library with historical sources, research, and reading. Everything I've learned about video production has been from trial and error, mostly error. So if you know more about video production than I do, which is pretty likely, and you see something here and think, gee, why is he doing it that way? There's a much easier way to do that. Well, that's why. Most of this video was filmed in May and June 2024. I started documenting the creation of the Pan Am project in the early stages, and I had no idea how it would turn out when I started it. Right now, obviously, this particular intro segment I'm filming at the end of the process, so I do know how it turns out now. But in just a moment, we're going to turn the clock back to the beginning of the process. I hope you enjoy this look behind the curtain. And when it's out in a couple of days, I really hope you enjoy the substantive video about the history of Pan American Airways, a really fascinating topic. Now, let's go back a couple of weeks and get into how the sausage is made. Okay, so how did the Pan Am project start? I suppose I should begin with that. It's been in my head for a long time. I've been very interested in the history of the airline Pan Am, really for many years since I was a lawyer, and I read the opinion of the bankruptcy case from 1994, which is a source I'm using. But a couple of years ago, I think about 2018 or so, I read this book, Sky Gods, The Fall of Pan Am by Roger Gant. Wonderful book, and this is going to be one of our major sources. It really does start with a source, with a subject, an idea, and then sources. So I was fascinated to do it. It's been on my list to do as a video for, probably 6 months now. I know a little bit about this topic because I had read that book back in 2018, was amazed by it. I remember my father and I discussing it over dinner one night, probably 5-6 years ago. So this has been kind of a long-term project that I've wanted to do. So that was really the genesis of the Pan Am project. And then, of course, comes the reading phase, which I'm going to show you, and then we finally get to the outline phase. So, but that's later in the process. This is the Suez Canal in Egypt, which was completed in 1869, one of the most vital waterways in the world. I decided to show you this when talking about my topic selection process because, for some reason, the Suez Crisis of 1956 is a suggestion I've received from at least 3 different viewers. I get suggestions all the time in comments and via email or Facebook message or something. Some of the suggestions are not very serious. No, sorry, I'm not going to do a video on Hunter Biden's laptop or on Garfield the cat instead of the president. But the vast majority are sincere, and they're excellent ideas, like the Suez Crisis, or the origins of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, or a biography of Grover Cleveland. I might actually do that one. However, the process of selecting a topic has a lot of factors that aren't visible on the outside of the channel. Generally, it has to be a topic that I have some personal interest in, and it really helps if it's something I already know something about, such as a subject I've taught in a class before. This is unfortunately why the Suez Crisis, as good an idea as it is, probably isn't going to be a long-form video anytime soon. As of right now, all I can tell you about it is that it happened in 1956, it involved Egypt trying to nationalize the Suez Canal, and Anthony Eden, British Prime Minister, was mixed up in it somehow, but that's really about it. So the learning curve on this subject is very steep. If I taught it before, if I'd read a book about it years ago, that would be one thing, but starting absolutely cold from scratch, that's really hard to do. The video production process from beginning to end takes 5 to 6 weeks. That means I can do, if I work really hard, 10 major videos a year, maybe 11. And even with that 5 or 6 week process, I've got to hit the ground running as soon as the previous video is done. In fact, even earlier, ideally. I can't sit there and think, gee, what am I going to do next month? It's more like, what are the next 3 videos likely to be for the next 4 months? The decision isn't made in a vacuum each time. The subject of the video chosen for 1 month affects what should come next. Not only do I not want viewers to get in a rut from month to month, but I need some variety for my own mental well-being. All the videos, whether I know the subject or not, take intensive amounts of reading and research. Even for something like the Fall of the Monarchies video, where I've known most of my main sources for many years, I'll still go back and read them anew before starting the video on them. But at least I have a bit of a head start. For a topic I don't know anything about or much about, I would have to teach myself the basics, the groundwork, before I could even begin to absorb the sources closer to the topic at hand. And learning that groundwork is not a matter of spending a couple hours on Wikipedia. It doesn't work that way. So if I decided, for example, to do the Peloponnesian War, which I know nothing about, I'd have to read a bunch of entry-level texts on ancient Greek city-states and the politics of the ancient Mediterranean, the culture, the trade, all the basic stuff, before delving into the major sources on the Peloponnesian War itself. If I had unlimited time, that'd be great. I'd love to do that. But I don't have unlimited time. I've got 5 or 6 weeks tops to make a video. Going in cold would eat up at least 3 weeks of that, just learning the basics of the subject matter before I could even begin to understand what I was dealing with. So that's why topics with big learning curves, like the Peloponnesian War, or the Suez Crisis, or any other number of topics that sound great in isolation, aren't likely to be good topics for my videos. So here's how the process came together for the Pan Am project. Let's go back to December 2023. I was already working on the video that would be out at the end of that month, A History of Urban Poop. I knew the next video after that for January would be the election of 1924. The next slot after that, more likely to be early March, because February is a short month, I thought would probably be the Pan Am project. Beyond that, there was sort of a nebulous cloud of video ideas I was thinking about. Coscott Interplanetary and the story of Glenn W. Turner, another presidential biography, perhaps Garfield, the Fourth Crusade, which I knew I was going to do months ago, and maybe another geographic history, maybe Henry VIII and the early Tudors of England. In December, however, I got an email from Roberta Blevins, the host of the Life After MLM podcast, asking if I wanted to come back on the show. When we started talking, it became clear that she was looking for content, perhaps for March. Thus, if I put out Coscott/Glenn W. Turner in early March, then went on Roberta's podcast to talk about that story, the timing would really work out. So, Pan Am got bumped from the March slot and replaced with Coscott and Glenn W. Turner, which got moved up. The thing about that one is most of it takes place in the 1960s and 70s. The heyday of Pan Am, however, was also that same period. So if I did them back to back, I'd have my head stuck in mid-century for 10 to 12 weeks in a row. There's only so much Mad Men and Richard Nixon era you can take at one time. Thus, figuring I would need a change of pace after that, early in the stages of working on Coscott, I decided to fill the next slot, April, with the Fourth Crusade, some medieval history. Once that was done, though, because viewers like to see American political history on my channel, and it will have been a few months since they got that, I decided it would make sense to do a 19th century U.S. political history topic for the May slot. Well, hello, James Garfield. You seem to fit right in there. But by now, poor Pan Am has been bumped down in the pecking order 3 times now, and the last 3 videos have been 20th century U.S. political history, business commercial history focusing on the 1960s and 70s, medieval history with a lot of warfare, then 19th century U.S. politics. Pan Am, a generally non-political topic starting in the 1920s and ending in the 1990s, would fit perfectly for the late June slot. So that's how Pan Am got chosen when it did. So most of the early phases of making one of these videos is email, believe it or not, and negotiation. There's a surprising amount of negotiation that goes on here. The first step is typically talking with the sponsor about, here's what I've got planned out for the next couple months. Usually they want to know, okay, what's the next video? When is it going to be out? And then they'll start looking for ways to mesh what they want to do and add into what I want to do, which is the videos. So negotiation, that's the first stage. Then I have some research assistants talking to them about how it's going to work, what the video is going to be like, what they're going to be doing. Are they going to be writing? Are they just going to be finding photos and pictures, which they, at least one of my assistants is primarily engaged in that. So figuring out, do they have time to work on this? Do they want to work on this? This is all, it's all kind of goes into that. So there was a historical foundation that holds a lot of images about Pan Am history. That negotiation eventually broke down. It didn't work out, so I'm not able to use pictures from their foundation. Wish I'd been able to do that, but that's just an example of one of the kind of the collateral issues that goes into this. So in the beginning, it all starts with the sources. So this is one of the very important sources I'm going to be using for the Pan Am project, the Pan Am video. This is Sky Gods by Robert Gant. Really great book that I had read years ago. Been a long time, so I got a copy of it, but this is, you really have to just read, and this is where it starts, is just reading. So another source that is proving very useful is this one, Robert Daly, American Saga. This is mostly a biography of Juan Trippe and kind of the rise part of the Pan Am story. So another super important source for the Pan Am project has been this one. This is a legal opinion. Pan Am Corp versus Delta Airlines, 1994 bankruptcy report. I used to be a lawyer, so I know how to find legal cases and things like that. And the reason why this is a source, and it's a kind of an unusual source because it's not a history book, not a biography, but it has legal cases will start with a narrative, basically, like the facts. And before they get into the legal issues, they'll talk about what happened. And that's what I'm using here because they have this section, chronology of the Pan Am Delta transaction. This is about the bankruptcy of Pan Am in the final days. This is in 1991. Can't find it in a book. You got to know kind of where to look. I knew this existed before I began the project. And luckily, when I found it again, it turned out to be an even better source than I anticipated it would be. just had a Zoom interview with an inside source. This is for the Pan Am project. He's not allowing me to use his name, which is fine. But I have a long series of notes, which I just typed up. This was a person who was intimately involved in the bankruptcy of Pan Am and was in the room when several major events happened. And it was really fascinating to talk to him. This source happened to be a person with a story to tell. So it's not all found in books. And it was really exciting to be able to do an interview with a live source and get some insight into these historical events that do not appear in the written sources. So that's going to be a fun part of the Pan Am video. So glad I got to do that. Okay, so this is the outline for the Pan Am video. Each video starts with a handwritten outline like this, and it takes a long time to figure out where to start, but I'm going to start at the end, as is often true. The beginning, Juan Trippe, and then the Golden Age, early and late, 747 Gamble, Empire in Decline, Lockerbie, of course, and then switch over to page 2. Looks like there's going to be 11 chapters. So I list the chapter heading here and then the main events that I want to talk about. There'll be some deviation from this as we write the script, but most of the outlines actually turn out to be pretty close to the way the final video goes. So that's what I have in mind, and that's the stage we're at here. Okay, so you want to see the office of the desk as it looks at the time we're working on the Pan Am project. You can see some of this stuff on YouTube. There's one of the typewriters. That one needs to be fixed. That one works. I may be doing a Putin project sometime soon. Anyway, this is the clutter program from my nephew's graduation. Thermometer. I got sick on the way back. Right. Looming Tower. I'm working on a September 11th project, which may or may not reach YouTube. It may be just from my website. This is the Pan Am outline, which I think I showed you earlier. My school notebook. These are actually notes. They're going to come in handy. You're going to see them when we get to the production process. This is how, for example, the quotes are done, all the settings that need to be done in DaVinci. Here's some more DaVinci notes I took from a class. This monitor doesn't work, so it's just a bulletin board now. Norwegian friends from Laeken, best friend Phil, he's dead now. My nephew, the usual thing. But here's the actual setup. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Okay, we got an issue on the Pan Am project, slight research issue. I'm starting into chapter 7 on the script, and one of the issues involved in this chapter is deregulation. And I was just kind of starting into it and realized I think I need a little bit more. I know a bit about deregulation, but I need to sort of get my head back in that space. So finding a new source, I did find one, looks like an article by Getz and Vowels. Strange name. Anyway, occasionally an issue will come up that I feel like I'm not strong enough on, so go in search of a source to do that. This is likely to be a little bit politically controversial. Pan Am project does not have a lot of politics in it, but deregulation is particularly an ideological issue. It'll cause a tiff in the comments, but yeah, this is an interesting article. So yeah, we're going to be working on chapter 7 today, which is called The Decline of the Empire, or The Decline of Empire, or something like that. But yeah, script is coming along well, so some additional stuff, additional information, ooh, there's a graph, yikes. Anyway, that's where we are. Okay, so script is done, and it's now filming day, or the start of filming. We've had some setbacks. Ground News not going to be with us on this video. That's fine. Actually does give us some more flexibility, but I got to get as much of the video filmed, but I try to film pretty much whenever the script is finished, and I finished it last night. Still going to be some tinkers, things like that. So the big task today, load up the script into the teleprompter. We're starting with chapter 5. I do not start at the beginning often, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So, big job. Okay, this is the very tedious process of loading up the teleprompter. Got to copy and paste paragraph by paragraph because the software for the teleprompter is really terribly designed. It seems like you should be able to load it up all at once. You can't do that. That is the teleprompter, as you can see. So we're going to be able to put all the text on the screen here and have it read out. But I got to do this chapter by chapter, literally paragraph by paragraph, and hopefully we need to start filming immediately because this is Friday, and at my apartment complex, Friday is a leaf blower day. Warm day, so we got to have windows open as much as possible. So hopefully leaf blowers are not going to interrupt the filming. So we come to another part I don't like, which is figuring out what to wear. Viewers are very savvy. They do pick up on the shirt that I'm wearing at any one time. Oh, is that a Sepultura shirt? Well, yeah, it is. So I got to figure out which one. Maybe I'll do this one. I bought this shirt actually at the concert at the Mississippi Gulfport Arena in 1996. It was that tour with my best friend who's now deceased. So I might do that one. Haven't done that one for a while. And Cifra I like. Yeah, they're okay. That shirt was given to me by another friend of mine, Jared, still around, who probably is watching this video. So hello, Jared. I may wear your shirt too, although that one is so faded. I've had it for many, many years. So anyway, I don't know. I guess I'll have to decide here, and we'll go into film here in just a moment. If you ever wonder what I see when I'm making these videos, I've got the GoPro on, obviously. But this is it. This is the teleprompter. It's strange. This whole thing's a mess. You only see, the backdrop there, but this is how the sausage is made. So, yeah. All right, nothing to do but do it at this point. OBS ready, camera ready, teleprompter ready. Okay. Start recording. Okay, this is Rise and Fall of Pan Am, Chapter 5. Today is June 7th. Oh, I'm overexposed. Damn it. Okay, let's fix that. Looks very cool. It's this white shirt, I guess. I hate it. Okay, here we go. At the very end of World War II, Charles Lindbergh, who had previously worked for Pan Am as a consultant, toured Germany to evaluate aviation developments of the defeated Nazi regime. During this trip, Lindbergh viewed one of Germany's groundbreaking jet fighters, the Messerschmitt Me-262, which made no difference in the war itself, but had a profound effect on aviation after it was over. Recording is over for the day at last. I've done 8 chapters. I'm hoarse, my throat hurts. This is the terrible part of the process. I know it seems like it's easy and fun, but this is not the part that I enjoy. But it is the part that shows on screen, so I have to put on a happy face. But glad that it's over for the day. We've been doing this all day, basically. Okay, recording day 2. This should be easier because there's only 3 chapters to do today, and one of them is very short, so this is probably going to be better than yesterday. I do really enjoy making these videos, but as you've probably noticed, filming is my least favorite part of the process, so it's just something that has to be done, but, comes with the territory. So anyway, new day, new morning, and last 3 chapters. We're starting with chapter 9. Okay. Pan Am Rise and Fall, chapter 9, take 1. Today is June 8th. Okay. Yeah, I guess the brightness on that's okay. Okay, here we go. Bankruptcy, at least for a corporation, and at least Chapter 11 bankruptcy, there are several different kinds, isn't like it is in the game Monopoly. You're not just out of money and lose the game. It's a legal process, a kind of legally organized feeding frenzy, where creditors are organized and told by a court how many chunks of flesh they can eat from the victim's corpse and in what order. Thank you to all my fans and supporters, and thank you once again for joining me on another journey into the past. Yay, we're done. Well, we're done filming. Okay, filming is done. The next major part of the process is going to be finding images, the still images. The key to doing these videos, obviously, is to have as much interesting stuff, visually interesting stuff going on at any one time on the screen. That's not always possible. In these long videos, there's just not enough images. So this one is going to be, I'd say, moderate difficulty. We're in 20th century, so we do have a lot of, there are going to be a lot of pictures. A lot of people do collect pictures of aircraft and things like that. Copyright, fair use, Creative Commons, those are always minefields. So we got to look at that. And also the other major part of the process here is annotating the script, figuring out which images are going to go where in the show. So that's going to be another major element here. These next couple of steps that you're going to see in this video are not sequential, meaning they're not all finished. I don't do all the image collecting before starting the editing, before starting the creation of the movies, before starting, whatever. They're all going on now simultaneously. And what gets done in what order is, I won't say luck of the draw, but it's really based on what we have done at any given time, what we still need to do. Are there difficulties still hanging out there? So that's how we're doing it. Also, in this, somewhere in this area, we're going to be checking in with our intrepid image hunting research assistant, John Marcucci, and see what he has for us. I haven't even looked at the folder, so I'm going to be doing that at some point. So image hunting is the next big thing here, and that's what's going on basically now. Spirit of St. Louis, barnstorming. Great. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful photo. Wonderful photo. Okay. Jones Beach, Juan Tripp and Charles Lindbergh. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, Pan Am Boeing print ad. That's going in the show. Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh, absolutely wonderful. That's really good. So these, again, have been found by Marcucci, our research assistant. We're going to be seeing from him something from him later in the show, but these are absolutely fantastic. Get a sense of what we have and then what we need to do. Lots of barnstormers. Oh, that's a good one. Early days of flight. Billy Mitchell courtroom. Oh, this is great. Really great. Okay, Calvin Coolidge. Nice. Ralph Owen Brewster. That's going in the show. Nice, nice, nice. Very cool. Okay, so looks like we're in good shape on the. These are the pictures we have. They have not been categorized yet, but it's easier to do the annotations if I kind of have a general sense of what we have. I put him on the early phases. I'm going to have to do the stuff in the later phases, which is fine. But this is really good. And he got footage of the real Pan Am building, so that's really good. Looking nice. Okay. All right, well, we're in good shape. Looks really good.
Oh, hey there. My name is John Marcucci. I'm a research assistant here at the Sean Munger channel. I source the footage and the photos you see on this very video. Looks like I got enough aircraft. Let's go shoot some B-roll for the channel. Alright, let's go. Midtown Manhattan is pure and total mishegas.
The strategy now is to get to editing as quickly as possible. We're going to start with chapter 5. This is the list of all of the elements, image elements that I put on the annotations, and I made them into a list here, a checklist here. So got to get all of them. We do the videos chapter by chapter, so I got to get all of these elements, get them ready, get them in a folder, and then I can start editing the chapter. So it's not as bad as it looks because I do have some of these already. I just haven't marked them off yet. But I'm just gonna start into editing as quickly as possible because obviously the sooner I start, the sooner I'll finish. And there's still a lot to do. We're doing chapter 5 because that's the least number of unknowns. There's no Google Earth movies that need to be made for that one. So most of the elements exist. They just need to be kind of all corralled into the same place. So that's where we are at the moment. So, significant progress to report. Not only is chapter 5 done, chapter 1 is also finished. I knew that once we got the first one done, then the rest kind of fall like dominoes. For some reason, it takes a lot less time to do the later chapters than it does to get over the hump of that first one. I don't know why that is, because the techniques are all the same, so it's not like I'm getting better at it. Anyway, 5 is done, 1 is done, so there's still a tremendous amount to do, but feeling pretty good about where we are now. So that's where we are. So nothing to do but just continue editing and plow on through the chapters. Pan Am Project Chapter 6 ADR. Pan Am under the rule of Harold Gray. Pan Am under the rule of Harold Gray. Pan Am under the rule of Harold Gray. Okay, we're not quite done yet. Chapters, I'm still editing chapters. They are kind of coming off the assembly line, but they're not finished yet. But I do want to get this making of video finished and up before the main Pan Am video goes up, so I got to bring this to a close. I am starting on what you would call post-production. There's a couple things that go on here. The thumbnail of the video has to be built, all the descriptions, the chapters have to be stitched together into one big file. I do that with a very primitive, deliberately simple program, no bells and whistles. That's one of the last steps. Also, there's a kind of testing that goes on here. So basically what I do is I upload each individual chapter to YouTube and turn the monetization on. The reason for that is so it can go through YouTube's content filters and see if there's going to be any flags with content or copyright or anything like that. I don't expect any problems with the Pan Am project. No dead bodies or anything like that. There's a crash photo, but it's just wreckage. So, stuff like that. This is how you test whether something's going to be a problem for demonetization. So the testing phase is going on there. I don't expect any problems. Copyright might be an issue, although I don't expect problems there with the film clips. I've used James Bond before. I've used Indiana Jones before. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. But this is why we do testing. So got to upload all those. And these are all videos are all left private, so you'll never see them on the channel. But this is kind of how you test out what you've got before you put it up there. And we are nearing the end. We're not totally there yet, but we're nearing the end, and that's really good because I've been working on this thing many days straight, all day, every day, and it's been a slog, but we're almost done, so that's good news. So, I hope you enjoyed this look at how my history videos are made. I'm sure there are many ways in which I can improve my process. If I made another one of these making of in 6 months, I'm also sure that my process would be very different than it is now. But for right now, June 2024, this is how they're getting made, for better or worse. As I said at the top of the video, if you're seeing this right when it comes out and the substantive video, The Rise and Fall of Pan Am, isn't out yet, it will be very soon, within a few days. I wanted to get this one out first for the channel's fans and supporters. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, do the stuff you usually do for a video you like. My website, where I teach history classes online, is at seanmunger.com. My blog is at gardenofmemory.net. Sign up for that to get articles in your inbox. I write books too. You can find them on Amazon. This is my latest one. It's a mystery novel. Hope you enjoy The Rise and Fall of Pan Am and learn something you didn't know. Thanks to all my friends, fans, and supporters. And thanks again for joining me on a look at how I take you on these journeys into the past.